Oh, Terry, hi, hi.
Hi, it's great
How are
seeing
you?
all of you. Oh, I'm doing good. I was just wondering, Sid, if offered, would you ever appear on Star Trek Picard? If you
Oh,
ever,
on the new TV show.
yeah.
Yeah, I think I probably would. I mean, it's difficult to say because I'm really kind of precious about the character I played back in the day, Dr. Bashir. And if he comes back to just move some furniture or pick some flowers in the garden, then I probably wouldn't want to do that. So if he had something that kind of helped, that expanded my knowledge of him, that gave everybody a sense of what Bashir is up to now in a real sense, which is kind of interesting, I guess. I don't know, what's the time zone? What's the timeline for?
About 20 years in the future from Nemesis.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Bashir could
20,
very
25
easily
years.
be around. Yeah. Yeah, it'd be fun if there was some reason, just to turn up as a kind of guest to go hi. It would be unsatisfying, I think, and probably unsatisfying for the smattering of fans that really want to follow the shit.
I don't think you have a smattering of fans.
Well, a smattering then.
Well, with this whole ban of, oh, maybe I shouldn't say anything about spoilers, but since Starfleet had that thing about people with who had genetically engineered
Yeah.
had been banned from Starfleet. Uh, if that ban has been lifted yet.
That's a good question. That's a really good question.
I mean,
I don't know. I mean, you probably know because you've obviously been watching Picard.
I don't have. Finished watching it.
Yeah.
I finally joined CBS Zoo, the CBS thing.
That's the problem. You have to join another network to yet another bill, and these things really mount up. So I think we've got Netflix and Amazon and regular TV, which is already, I don't know, $60-70 a month. And I think we just got HBO because my wife likes to watch a lot of the shows on HBO. And we just can't do anymore. We can't do Hulu. We can't do Epix. We can't do CBS. I mean, there's so many with great shows on that we just can't do. So we just have to wait for them to come on YouTube one day. Anyway, lovely to meet you, Terry. See you again, Terry.
You too, Sid.
Thank you.
You too.
Thank you.
Go to Kara C. Kara Connoisseur.
Connoisseur. It's okay. Everyone always gets it wrong. It's fine.
All right, you were next on my list, so you're up.
Hi.
Hi, Kara.
How are you?
Very good, thank you. Actually, I'm in great shape. I'm doing just fine and dandy. How about you?
I'm okay. I looked at the calendar and realized it's been actually a month since I started working from home. So that was kind of crazy to think about, that it's been like the longest longest month of my life.
Yes, I bet. My phone's going. I'm just trying to ignore it. I think it's. I keep getting phone calls from people in New York. I think whoever had this before, this number, it was Chinese. The only reason I'm not sure, but I think so, because I get this Chinese spam phone calls. I have no idea what they're saying, but off they go. It's a computer talking to me in Chinese, and okay, someone else. So good. That was an aside.
But yeah, I'm so excited to get to talk to you because I've always wanted to go to a convention and actually meet you. Because I've met a lot of your cast members, like at other Star Trek cons, and I'm always like, I really just want to meet Sid.
That's very sweet. Well, here it is. We've got a rolling convention, but I prefer not to think of it as a convention, because a convention is sort of, it's like a kind of, well, at first people pay, and that doesn't have to happen here. And the second thing is that all the attention is on me and a few other stars, and I kind of prefer to know a bit about you, but I never have time to ask these questions. And I never have time when we're signing photographs. I try and ask a couple of, find out about people who come through my world. And I've always got someone nudging me going, you got to go a little bit faster. You got to go a little bit faster. So eventually I'm just like, hi, yeah, bye. Hi, yeah, bye. Hi, yeah, bye. So this is nice because I can actually, fix my eyes on you, see what's going on and say hello. And ask, whereabouts in the world are you?
Delaware. It's kind of, and most people don't really think much about Delaware.
You know what? Delaware is the state that everyone forgets in Name the 50 States.
Yes, it really is. And I'm not even originally from here, and before I moved here, I forgot about it as well.
I'm sure it's not forgettable. It's just easy to forget for some reason. I think it's because it's so tiny. I'm not sure.
Yeah.
No idea. I don't know what the reason was. My wife plays those sort of games of trying to remember every state and she'll forget, or she tries to remember every president and she'll forget but Delaware's the one that trips her up. What's going on in Delaware? Because we don't hear about it in the news.
I don't really know what's going on. It's like, well, I feel like the only thing people know about Delaware is just Joe Biden because he's from here, but.
That's a big deal. That's a big deal. And is the impact of the virus made a big significant effect on Delaware?
Pretty much we have that stay-at-home order. That's why I've been working from home. I actually work at the hospital, but I do administrative work, so I have to kind of communicate with doctors and stuff on a daily basis while they're there and I'm here.
And how's morale in the hospital?
I think everyone's just kind of pushing through, and it's actually been pretty interesting because I had like 2 earlier Zoom calls and other online calls, and the community's been really good. They've been like just donating like masks, they've been donating food, and like everybody is just like so overwhelmed with just how grateful they are about how everyone's kind of coming together and doing their part.
And so when do you think what's your opinion of when you think we might go back to sort of a vaguely next step of normality?
I don't know. I feel like people have been kind of pushing off like a date. They're like, maybe at the end of this month we'll think about it, maybe mid-May. It's sort of like, I think everyone's come to the reality that we just don't know yet. And it kind of depends on the area you live in and how many cases you have. And they're just kind of taking it day by day, any updates they have, and kind of going, I know it's going to take a long time to kind of get back to normal, but hopefully it'll get back to normal sooner than later.
Do you have any pets? Do you have any animals?
I have a cat, yes. I don't know where she is currently. She's usually wandering around.
That's what it is with cats. No one ever knows where cats are. The cats are weird like that. They will just, I'm certain, like, missing laundry socks, they have a meeting place that you just don't know quite where they all hang out, but that's where they actually socialize and cuddle and do things that cats don't have a reputation for doing.
Probably. Secret lives.
They're effusively emotional. Well, it's been a real pleasure talking to you.
Well, thanks for doing this.
All right, Poppy, you are up.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't know. It's not my first time to talk to Sid. I've seen.
Oh, I remember you, Poppy. We met last year at a convention. Where was it? I can't remember. But you came to a convention, and you were.
Yes, but I bet you don't remember which one.
Was it Vegas?
No, a good guess because a lot of convention, the biggest one happened in Vegas, but no.
You had 2 friends. You were there with 2 of your friends.
Let me see. Yes, there's one I go all by my own, and there's one I go with 2 of my friends.
That's right. And then you traveled a long way to be there.
Yes. Actually, I'm not from Ohio, definitely. Actually, you just locate me from another continent. So I'm in China right now. And,
that's right.
And it's 3 o'clock in the morning. So I don't know why, but every time I try to grab a chance to talk to you, I have to sacrifice my sleep.
I'm really sorry. I'm really sorry.
I have no such problem meeting William Shatner, no matter how many times, just will not cause my sleep. Every time I want to talk to Sid, I was like, I need to see Sid, and definitely no sleep. Like
I'm sorry.
No, I don't feel sorry. This is one of the best things happening in this miserable time. So many things canceled, but still, I said that I can see that's something really making me really, really happy.
That's very kind of you. You know, Mel and I talked after the lot, because we did this last week, and Mel and I, for the first time, tried to discuss how we could, because last time there were people from England, and there was some people from Germany and other parts of Europe. She has friends from Hawaii who want to get him, might want to turn up, and we were trying to figure out what the best time we could do this. And there isn't a best time, especially if you're thinking about Australia and you're thinking about China, because it's just the wrong end of the world for this. So I'm just so sorry you have to wake up in the middle of the night to come and say hello.
No, I understand, and I appreciate it very much. And
well, we appreciate you turning up and coming from China and telling us what's going on.
Well, what's going on here?
How is no more just you? How are you? You don't have to tell us about China.
Me, I'm a professor working in the university. So, university are closed, but still, because we're teaching college students, we can definitely do those online courses. So we use different softwares to just do our class alive online, and so it doesn't reduce much work. It's just that we don't spend time to commute, but still more homework to grade.
A lot of people would say you are really lucky because you're still working, and you're working doing something you really like doing. It's fantastic.
Can I ask a question?
That's what you can do.
Yeah, and I don't know whether you've seen the last season of Doctor Who, and when that new master came up, and we're all so excited and say, this should be Sid's character. I don't know how many others will share the same thoughts here, but I always hope you could one day, even a guest appearance in Doctor Who. That will be awesome. I don't know.
That's interesting. I have to tell you that they did, Poppy, 2 years ago, while I was shooting the Gotham, they did call me and ask me to do something, but we couldn't make the dates work because I was already busy doing something else, and that was my one opportunity in my life to do a Doctor Who, and it could have been the character you're talking about. They didn't tell me the character at the time. And they didn't show me the script at the time because it wasn't a question of whether or not I'd do it. So it was just that I couldn't do it. So they were like, okay, never mind. And they like to keep it secret what you're actually going to play. And they definitely like to keep the script secret. So only until once I'd said yes, they'd have been able to tell me, or at least, and once I'd said I'd think about it, they'd send me a script. But at the time, I just couldn't do it. So I lost out. I never got to be in Doctor Who. I know. Tragedy.
Oh no, I'm all crying out in my heart. And but next time, especially if they do ask you to be the next Doctor, please say yes.
They won't ask me to be the next Doctor. They should ask you to be the next Doctor. Now, that would be
no way. My English is not perfect enough. And okay. Well, I just want to mention a little bit, one more thing. I'm so sorry if I'm taking up too much time. And
no, you're fine.
Doctor. Yeah, I am a doctor already. Yeah, I got my PhD 3 years ago.
Congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. And actually, I know here 5 of our Chinese fans right here today. 3 of them doctors got their PhD.
Wow, that's great.
So yeah, quite amazing. And one of them, Maggie, who is right now in London. I didn't ask her permission to mention this. I'm so nervous. In 2017, and you first signed to come to VegasCon, yes, and then canceled 2 days before.
Oh yes,
I
do
remember that.
I'm famous for that.
And
I do that a lot. I tell people, be careful with me because I just go and do some work somewhere.
No, I don't think you did that a lot. No, not infamous as Chris Hemsworth, I think.
Okay.
and and I and she at that time she was still an undergraduate, I think, and so she flight all the way to America to see you, and the day she
Terrible.
day she got off the plane and heard the news that Sid canceled, I feel so sorry for her.
Really and well, will you apologize to her from me?
You can personally apologize to her right now.
Is she here in your room?
Yeah, Maggie is here.
Room, but Maggie is here.
Oh my goodness. Okay, I'll apologize to her personally. Maggie, I am so humbly sorry for doing that to you.
It's fine. It's fine.
Such a fortune. I am deeply sorry.
I cried in my bed for a whole day.
Oh,
No, but the same night I met Garrett Wang, and he cheered me up.
Oh, thank goodness for that. Oh, good. That's great. Well, now you've learned a horrible lesson about how unreliable I am, and I'm really sorry, Maggie.
Thank you. Okay, go on, Maggie. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I'm fine.
Oh yeah. And I at that time I feel so sorry because I encouraged her to see you because I met you before in 2016 at Dragon Con in Atlanta, and think you should if you are being a fan, and you should see him, grab the chance. I think it's worth to fly over the Pacific Ocean to see it because he's so nice. And then I feel so guilty. I feel so bad. I said one day I will try to get Sid to apologize to you.
Well, you did it, and I apologize profusely.
I didn't happen.
So sorry, Maggie. That's awful.
Thank you.
We'd love to say I owe you your plane trip back, but I couldn't afford to pay you. It's just terrible. It's so much.
Okay, we had a wonderful time. We had a wonderful time. I even got our, I think we have a shot in the Deep Space Nine documentary, and so yeah, that's worth it. And
that's fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, gee, that's oh yeah. Last sentence to comment before I go.
You come all the way from China. You can hang out for a couple of seconds.
I don't know why, but every time I see you, you look more handsome than I remember from last time.
That's very sweet of you to say, Poppy. Of course, now I know you're a liar.
Okay, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for everybody's time.
I look forward to seeing you next time.
Definitely. Yeah.
And sorry, Maggie. Sorry. Right.
Okay. Well, that was delightful. And as everybody in the chat is saying, Poppy for the next Doctor Who. We're all on board with that. So let me see if we've got Kelly. Kelly Dickinson, I thought I saw her. Maybe not. Okay.
I'm here.
Oh, there she is. All
Kelly's
right. There she is.
Nice.
You're up.
Hi, Kelly.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you, Kelly.
I don't know what to ask you what hasn't been asked already, so I guess I was kind of curious about how you felt from the documentary, what they did with your character as a sort of, fake season 8. They had you married to, God, I can't remember anyone's name.
Yeah, Dax.
And then you were the head of Section 31, that secret.
Yeah.
If you were to come back in that type of role, is that something that would interest you?
Yeah, that'd be great fun. The Section 31 stuff would really interested me. I really liked that because it tied into my relationship with Garak and all that kind of spy stuff.
Yes.
And so I can see a sort of quite a deep future for Bashir in that way. So yes, I'm absolutely. And I don't know about the the Esri connection. That was who I married.
Yes, thank you.
Did I marry her? Or did I just? I don't remember marrying her. I say about that about all my wives, but I that one.
I don't think you did in the show, but they had you married to her in their theoretical season.
Right. Okay. That's right. And I do remember thinking, my goodness, this is the first time Bashir has actually ever succeeded in any kind of relationship.
They needed to do something for your character for sure.
Yes,
I feel like you
exactly.
got beat
Someone
down
who's willing
every
to
turn.
tolerate this guy. And it was the beautiful Esri. So I do remember that. But yeah, the Section 31 stuff really does intrigue me. It really is cool. And you know what? I believe they're using it a lot on the
Discovery.
Yes, exactly, Discovery. So, and they have Ira Bear, who wrote Deep Space Nine with Michael Piller, to thank for that. Because they came up with the whole notion of Section 31. I don't think they ever got thanked.
No, I just rewatched the documentary last night, but it had me in tears most of the way because of seeing, Aaron and Renee. I'm like, oh.
I know, because there's such lively sparks, such wonderful presences. Absolutely, I was talking about Aaron only yesterday, and but I will never forget Aaron. So he's made his mark on this earth, and I hope he's causing exactly the same amount of mischief somewhere else.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And and also Renee, but he has such an astonishing body of work and one of the great American character actors. Period. It was an astonishingly sad year, but every year is sad, and every year is incredibly joyful. And we just have to always try and balance the two and seek joy to replace, to add to sadness, and to make sure that we are always not freaking out about one thing or another. I always tend to just stay brooding on one thought, and I have to nudge myself to look outside and see the squirrels and go, oh God, amazing place. I live in an amazing place. Yeah. Where are you about? Whereabouts are you?
I'm in upstate New York. I'm right in between Saratoga Springs and Lake George.
Oh, okay. I used to live near Chatham, in north of Albany.
Oh,
so you were
okay.
Further north, but we had a little place there back in the day, and it's a beautiful part of the world. We were right next to the Massachusetts border, but it was just gorgeous. Freezing cold. Oh my goodness. Are you watching a show called Tiger? Do you know the show Tiger King?
I refuse to watch that.
Okay. We started watching.
I've heard awful things.
We started watching it. With the first two shows, I haven't seen Awful Things yet, but I'm sure awful things are going to happen.
That's what I worry about. I can't watch things with animals
doing things.
Yeah,
makes sense. Well, my wife can't watch anything where humans do anything bad to humans. So we're really stuck for kind of television viewing material, because
you mentioned your movie last week for Vertical Limit, and like, oh, we haven't watched that, or my husband's seen it, so he didn't tell me what happened, but that was an anxiety-filled roller coaster. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
What am I watching?
My brother votes that the funniest death scene I've ever done. He just explodes out laughing when he watches the guy in that movie. Huh?
Yours was kind of the best death scene because you didn't know it was coming. You're like, oh, we got the pack off and we got the shade and covered it with snow, and you're having a laugh. And I look at my husband because I'm like, oh, thank God, because I thought, oh my God, they're not hearing him to get it. I'm like, oh my God. He goes, just watch. And you guys are having a laugh, and then boom, I'm like, oh.
Unlucky.
But you didn't know it was coming, so that's gotta go. That's the way.
That was the point. Brilliant. Well, listen, it's been really lovely talking to you, Kelly. Thank you.
Lovely talking to you. I'd never make it to a con, so this was wonderful.
Well, you don't have to now, and don't have to, spend that money. So we'll talk again at some point.
Absolutely.
Kelly had emailed me about Ticonderoga, and I sent her Lolita's information. So
great.
She's the one who handles that.
Great. I haven't heard from Lolita.
I hope she's doing all right.
I hope she's doing okay too, because they did that Trek cruise, didn't they?
Yeah.
Which I can't believe they did, because they did it after this thing hit. They were like, okay, let's get on a boat. And I was like, no, that's
like maybe they thought they'd be safer on the boat, not really comprehending what was.
Well, I guess no one really comprehended. It was like a couple of days before, wasn't it? And it's catastrophic for companies to cancel those sort of things. But touch wood, they're all okay, because we didn't hear that a crazy boatload of Star Trek fans, the president isn't allowing them into the country or anything. So we have to assume that it went off okay.
Fingers crossed. Yeah, I've been kind of watching to see if there's any chatter about it, and it seems like everybody came out all right, but that would have been scary. Yeah. Okay. Jackie, can you talk?
Hey, Jackie.
Hey, Sid. It's kind of funny that you're not excited about the Star Trek cruise, because you're signed up for the next one.
I know. I signed up for the next one, exactly. It's it's the thing that I've never wanted to do, be on a cruise. But you know what? My wife really, really thinks they're fantastic. And I don't think she's ever been on one. So she said, can you please go on this thing together? And I went, sure, we'll go. And but I don't know whether it'll happen. Who knows whatever the world's going to be like next March. But I hope it'll be happening, because that'll mean that all this is behind us. And that the world is, God is in his heaven again.
Yeah. Comic-Con just got canceled, so I'm really tempted to go on this. I've never been on a cruise either, so I'm a little curious, but also a little nervous.
Yeah. Do you know how many people are on those cruises? Oh,
man, I don't know. It looks pretty busy, though. Like, all the pictures I've seen have been pretty crowded.
Oh, yeah.
So,
you think it might be too soon? People be like thinking, I just don't want to be in a massively crowded room only sort of 8 months after this thing hit us all so hard, when we've all been taught how to socially distance. It's going to be weird, isn't it? I don't think these rules are going to be lifted in the next 8 months, really?
I mean, it's possible. And also, like, a lot of the rooms are already sold out. So a lot of people are apparently still hopeful.
Yeah.
So,
gosh.
I mean, it would be nice if it's all cleared out by then.
Oh, it would be absolutely essential. I mean, I'm certainly cleared out by then, but I'm more concerned about the social. Will have been retrained as a society not to go anywhere near each other, and I'm just wondering whether it would be very claustrophobic on a boat, a tin can in the ocean, with millions of people.
Well, I mean, it's not going to be millions of people. I don't think you can fit millions of people on a cruise. maybe a couple of thousand, but at most.
Well, that sounds a lot better. When you put it like that, that sounds a lot better. So, okay. And what do you do? What's your gig?
I do transcriptions and closed captioning, though I've been branching back into writing, which I've been missing doing. So that's
fantastic. When you do your, you call it, you write the subtitles and you write super titles. Is that right? Those sort of things.
Yeah.
Do you do that for foreign movies as well as just Americans, for disabled people?
Just in English right now. I'm not fluent enough in anything else to do it successfully.
And your writing aspirations are in journalistic form or in the form of fiction?
They're fiction. I used to write a lot, and then I got out of the practice, and then in March I started a Patreon for writing, which was really bad timing considering now like no one has disposable income. But I started it, so I'm getting it going and getting back into the practice, which is nice.
Yeah, that's great. And how do you write? You write in the morning, like for an hour or 2 hours, and then get on with your day, or do you when the mood takes you?
It's somewhat when the mood takes me, and somewhat when I have. It's mostly when the mood takes me, actually. Like I've got to have I've got to have enough of my to-do list done that I can just sit down and not fret.
Because you're very organized.
I'm organized when it comes to cooking. I'm not entirely organized when it comes to everything else.
Okay.
But yeah, like if there's chores that really need to be done and I'm trying to write, all I can think about is getting them done. So yeah.
Do you like to write personally, or do you like to go, reach for something else?
Well, most of it is fantasy, but it's also a little personal because like fantasy is how you can safely otherize something enough to get your own distance from it while still telling your story. So kind of both.
Yeah, I love that about Star Trek. I mean, you can say stuff that people would be really offended, and because especially now we're very divided as people for some reason, they would not listen, because as soon as they hear these trigger words, they shut down. And but when you're doing a sci-fi or a fantasy, you can absolutely walk into these discussions and really put them up there, and people disassociate them from the reality of their lives. And that's what the finest writers tend to manage to pull off, you know. Even George Orwell, you know, we still refer to things as really 1984 dystopian. And that's, and now it appears, you know, George Orwell doesn't seem like he is even a science fiction writer. He seems like a sort of mundane, ordinary writer about gritty reality, because we've become so much like that dystopia. But that's fascinating. That's really cool. That's great. I just got a pushed story, if you wonder what that noise was. I can't stop these push stories coming. I always say, please don't push stories to me, and they keep pushing these things on me. So now I know that the Times is doing something next week, and that's great. Not tuning in. I've got much bigger fish to fry right here. Well, listen, it has been absolutely delightful talking to you, Jackie, and good luck.
Everybody's madly Googling Poulet Madame.
Oh yeah, it's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. Foul Madamus.
Poulet Madame. Okay, Savannah. We're gonna go to Savannah Graves.
Hello.
Hello.
It's going to be something of a struggle for me to stay coherent, so I'm going to try really hard.
No, don't try. Don't try. Babble.
My best friend is here somewhere to kind of on a semi-dare just to see if I would stay coherent. There was something of a bet.
You're doing great so far.
Thank you. And also I realized that he is in frame, so that's a little bit weird, but I don't feel like moving him. It's Loki. I don't know if you Marvel movies.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He's great, that guy.
I have David Tennant's in the other corner, but you can't see him. I'm one of those people who doesn't have any questions or anything. I just kind of want to say, like,
I'm just happy to see your smiling face.
And my mint green hair.
Mint green hair is quite attractive. I'm trying to figure out. It does put you into a definite, like, 1960s Star Trek, though. You know?
That's perfect. It used to be bright blue, but it faded really badly, and I am too lazy to fix it. So.
Well, that's fine by me.
I don't have a question or anything, but I do want to say it's a lot of words, so I'm going to condense it. But Julian Bashir is very, very important to me for like a host of reasons that would take me a long time to explain. So thank you for playing that character the way that you did. And making him so lovely and caring to everybody. It's a really nice thing to be able to watch. And Deep Space Nine is sort of on a permanent cycle in my house. Star Trek of all kinds is on a permanent cycle in my house.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I really enjoy it.
How many people live in your house?
Just me and my mother. And I think she's listening to me from somewhere over there.
Good for her. And you must get along really well.
We do, thank God.
Thank God. Otherwise,
since we have to stay together. Yeah,
that's fantastic. And what it looks like you have a lot of cosplay connection going on.
I just have stuff. There's a lot of stuff from every imaginable everything. I collect really old books that I find in thrift stores, so that's a lot of what's happening.
Book? What's your favorite old book?
Oh gosh, I this is not for content, but for impressive for being old. The oldest thing I have is 1895. So goodness. That is probably my favorite find, just for the age, especially because it came from a thrift store. It was like $1.50.
That is awesome. And where do you find all these books?
Thrift stores, believe it or not.
They sell those things?
Genuinely, yes. Not as much where I live now. Where I used to live had a lot of like independent thrift stores. Okay. So.
Where do you live? What area do you live in? Just what state?
Orlando, Florida.
Oh wow, fantastic. Okay.
Disney World, as we always say.
Disney World. You can go every day if you want to.
Except for right now.
Except for right now. Oops.
Yeah. I think that's when Orlando panicked. I think we were like mostly keeping it together as a city, because Disney, I'm sure everybody knows, Disney has like never closed. They close like for like 2 days when there's a hurricane, and that's it. So when Disney said they were going to close, it was like, everybody's like, oh, this is real now. So it's been kind of depressing because I was a Disney every other weekend person. So I'm feeling very like, I can't go to Disney World.
Oh no! I had a thing when I was doing playing Dr. Bashir back in about 1994, 5 early days. I went to Disney with I believe. Wait a minute. Who did I go to Disney with? We took a child. I just remember whose child and whether we abducted her or not. I don't think we did. I think that was a genuine friendship. And we took her to Disneyland, and we got treated like kings and queens because they knew we'd come from we were doing a TV show. I think they didn't know who I was or anything, except when we got into a line, you had to go down some steps and you could see and meet Mickey Mouse. And Mickey Mouse has big white gloves and a big head. And I remember him very well, and he would be like, because he can't speak. Because the minute they speak, the broken accent throws people off. And but when I got to the front of the line, and he was like, "Oh God, Dr. Bashir, ha ha!" All the other kids and I were like, "Mickey spoke. He doesn't sound right. He sounds weird. I don't like Mickey anymore." Anyway,
that's amazing.
So yeah, that's my only Disney story. Yeah. But love the look of your room. I really do.
Thank
you.
So
what is your thing? What keeps you what makes you get up in the morning?
So it's kind of difficult because I'm one of the few people who actually really loves their job. So the thing that gets me up in the morning, I'm not currently able to do. I'm a computer technician. I fix computers at the University of Central Florida. So the short version is people who teach the sciences email me when they're mad.
You tell me something, because I'm interested in something with all these, and you might know because you're a computer, you're savvy with this stuff, but would it be possible to get in touch with Zoom and say, could they create a patch that, 80 people like us, or 60 people, however many we are here, can once every now and then play karaoke together, but we get the music coming in from somewhere so we can hear it, but we can all sing if we want to, or mime if we want to. Because I'm always trying to think of party ideas for this group of people, because once we've seen each other 4 or 5 times, we'll be like, oh, let's not talk. I've got really nothing to say to him. I don't
think that's going to happen. Just generally, I don't think that's going to happen. I imagine that Zoom is extremely busy right now, so I don't know if we could get anything from them, but I know for a fact that there are other services that do that kind of thing, or that are made for that kind of thing, like watching Netflix and doing that stuff. I have to dig around because I've seen them go by. I haven't really paid attention.
There's something called House Party. Is that?
Yeah, that's similar. There was some. Rabbit used to exist, but I think Rabbit is dead. It has some kind of replacement now. I'd have to figure out what it is. And also, to mute your incoming phone calls, hit your power button on your phone.
Thank you. See? Something that, I don't know, I'm going to sound obsessive about karaoke, but the reason why I've mentioned karaoke is because it's something that my wife and I do for fun on sort of once a month. We just put it on, we'll put on YouTube and we'll pretend our hairbrushes are microphones, and we'll sing songs with the TV. And sometimes she hooks up her best friend via iPad, who's actually got a real voice. Neither of us do. And he joins us in Canada. So we have 3 people, one person singing a full second behind us because he's just got a lag, depending on the internet connection, singing crazy karaoke songs till goodness knows what time in the morning. So that's why I went, it's a very, by the way, it's a good fun thing to do if you're together with someone for a long time, because it's strangely kind of nice. It's a weird, uninhibited, and it opens other doors. It's like, wow. And we get through every song we can possibly think of. They seem to be limitless on YouTube. You just put, I don't think it's illegal, but they seem to have the karaoke lyrics for every song in the world on that thing. You just have to play them and sing along.
I think it's more fun if everybody can't sing, and if everybody knows everybody can't sing, and then there's no expectations whatsoever.
Oh yeah, there are no expectations. My wife sings as if she's singing the song backwards, and I don't care. I just like the fact she's just belting her little heart out, Really nice to meet you.
You too, I promise.
Please come back.
Don't worry. I'll be here.
Okay, bye.
All right, we're gonna do some karaoke in the chat room. Everybody's welcome to join. We're gonna go to Mary Nazinski. I think that might be a familiar name for you.
Yes, wait a minute, say that again.
Mary Nazinski.
Absolutely.
Yes.
I don't know if it really is Sid. It's been about 20 years.
Well, I don't remember names very well, but I do remember faces. It's really lovely to see you again.
You may recall, and I did want to tell you a little story about, well, obviously I took pictures of you at the fan club weekends with the other fans 20 years ago.
Yeah, I remember those. They were great.
And I think you must have remembered me, but you're also very nice and you might have done this anyway. But at the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas, right before 9/11, it was literally the weekend before 9/11.
I remember.
So we all got home. I assume we all
Absolutely.
got home just in time before they froze all the airline flights for about a week.
I was lucky to get out.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So I was there alone, and I had walked to the convention. I mean, I knew some of the fans from previous weekends, but I had traveled there alone, and I was attending alone. Walked to the convention one day, and then it was between events. And I was standing out, they didn't have much room in that little hotel, the Alexis Park, for waiting between events in the hallways.
Yeah.
So I was standing out or sitting out at a little table by the pool with other fans were all clustered around waiting to get into the next thing. And suddenly a person came up to me. You might know where this is going.
I don't know.
Was I enjoying myself, and was I having a nice time at the convention? And I said, well, yeah, I was. And I looked over, it was you.
And I stole your wallet, didn't I?
No, I must have been so, the other people around must have thought, oh my gosh, because you're one of the people we were waiting to get in to see. I think you were doing the play back then.
Always fun doing that at convention.
That was very nice. It was very
true.
Nice and courteous that you could do that.
So what's happening at your university?
I work at the University of Wisconsin in Milwaukee, and that's where I live too.
Yeah, obviously you've shut down.
We shut down. Everything is online. I'm very fortunate that I work at the campus tutoring center. I'm a supervisor there.
Mm-hmm.
So tutoring could also move online just as the classes did.
Right.
And in some ways, it could possibly move online a little more successfully because it's meant to be little interactive groups. Some people are probably going to be laid off finally. They tried to keep it going for the spring.
Yeah.
And some people, including myself, many people will be losing probably a day or two or more of pay every month.
Yeah. I'm sorry.
Well, when I think of the alternative.
Absolutely. The alternative is it cannot be mentioned. There's got to be some silver cloud, some silver lining,
Yes.
to all this. I mean, I know that a lot of people are losing family members, and we're not even in the middle of it yet, and it's going to probably get a little worse before it gets better. But my goodness, if we can't figure out something positive to dream about, at least, when this is all blown over, then we're not doing a very good job at the human level. And that's our job, and that's not our government's. It's our job to look on the bright side, and it's the government's job to get us rubber gloves. But it's going to be. I'm hoping that we can come up with all kinds of cool stuff like this, these meetings, like when we all get together on this thing. This will breed something. This will give birth to something. I don't know what it is yet, but in the next few weeks, this will morph into something else, and it'll be another kind of fun. I mean, I'm coming up with plans with Mel all the time about what we can do to surprise everybody. I mean, right now, I'm just saying hi and meeting everybody. Mm-hmm. But as I say, we're going to be like reading the newspaper and it's, oh yeah, he's still there. Yeah, he's talking. He'll be done soon. Okay, we're done. But we'll need to surprise each other because once familiarity does breed contempt, but it also breeds kind of boredom. And my job is to entertain. And I've always felt that, it's that those amazing stories coming out of Italy. Sorry that I'm now doing all the talking. I don't mean to.
That's all right.
Roller coasting through your time, but I loved it when I saw those romantic pictures of singers in Italy singing off balconies, and pianists playing on, not pianists getting a piano to a roof, but a violinist playing on the roofs of their buildings, and they had a kind of orchestra happening around the city where people would play a similar tune and people would be singing to each other. That's kind of beautiful. And that was a gift that I thought those guys were really generous to give. My career, my business, not my career, my vocation, acting and entertainment, started as a free vocation. We'd go around villages in, probably England and Italy, and we would perform for the villagers, and they'd give us food, and we made a living. That's how we literally made a living. We didn't need to make money, but we got fed and watered and moved to the next village and became famous that way. And I just sit here twiddling my thumbs going, what can I possibly do? But I realized that I can still kind of entertain a little bit. I mean, this isn't real entertainment. It's not a comedy show, but it's sort of in the same sphere. So this has been a really important outlet for me, because I can do this stuff. I'm lucky enough to be able to get 50 people in a room.
Yes.
And 50 people in a room is the beginning of something.
It has made the work week very interesting for me the last 2 weeks. The first week I thought, well, how is that going to work? Will I be able to get into the room and all that stuff? So then when it worked out so well, then this week I was looking forward to it at various times during the week, thinking, oh, wow, that's right. Friday afternoon, I get to sit in the chat again.
It's fantastic. That's
Even
great.
though I'm chatting at work, it's not the same kind of stuff,
No, we need to talk to people. Especially now, because it's just so damn depressing.
And the reason I came to your fandom and to Deep Space Nine is because I'm obviously one of the older ones in this group probably today. I've been a Star Trek fan for literally 40 years, since the first film came out. Wow. So not the original, because I was a little too young to appreciate it. Yeah, but first movie in '79.
Wow.
So then, of course, I was very into the original series, the original actors, I still am. But then when Next Generation came around, I thought, well, I better give it a try, because Gene Roddenberry is involved, and this seems to be such a big deal to him. Well, of course, when I first saw it, I didn't really like it because it wasn't the original, but it grew on me very quickly till now. I really love it.
That's great.
Well, then, of course, a few years after that, they said, there's another series, guess what, called Deep Space Nine. And it seems like just yesterday, but it was probably 25 years ago, right?
Yeah.
I was sitting on the edge of, I remember I was sitting on the edge of my parents' bed because they had a better TV, and the living room, they were watching something else. And I thought, well, I'll watch this because I want to give this a try too. And I think I liked Deep Space Nine pretty much right away. It didn't have a growing on me phase.
That is unusual. Most people didn't like it right away. Especially the old guard who knew, the Next Generation.
Yeah.
They were like, this is not like the Next Generation. This is like dark chocolate, and I like milk chocolate. Yeah.
I was moved by it because you might not remember every detail of the premiere, but we all keep rewatching it. They show it on H&I Network every night, Deep Space Nine. But anyway, I was very moved because of the way Sisko could not let go of his wife's death. And I'll never, chokes me up.
Yeah, sure.
But I'll never forget that line where one of the prophets was saying to him something along the lines of, well, you say that time is linear, but you exist here.
Yeah, yeah.
It really moved me because I thought at that point I hadn't had as many, very sad life events with my parents as I have since. But even then, things really maybe affected us or moved us or hurt us over the years. And I thought, that's true. Sometimes we can't keep existing in those things. We also have to move on. Absolutely. And I guess that's a correlation with what's going on right now, because I do live alone in an apartment, and sometimes it is difficult, even with all this talking with people, to feel like life is going to be as good as it was before.
Yeah.
So that's kind of a somber note. I didn't want to get so somber and cry.
Our job to make sure it is as good. We're not going to leave this to the politicians. They don't want that job. They don't even know what to do with that job. And there isn't a politician in the world that can fix that for us. So let's not.
That's right.
Let's do that ourselves. And that's simple little things. And I lost my mother when I was in 2003.
Yeah.
And it was a pretty tough time because she was an astonishing human being. Obviously, everybody's mother is an astonishing human being. And I have to tell you that this, 17 years later, she is as alive to me as she was when she died. So that is a gift, and she's always around, you know. And my brother too. My brother it's terrible for my brother because he was only 18, and you're not supposed to lose your parent when you're still when you're not an adult yet. And but I have to say, for him too, she's as existent, and she's a light in every room, and that's the gift that the dead people give us. Whatever you believe, doesn't matter what you believe. That is not a superstition. That is an evocation.
That's exactly right. And that's also moving on into the future with them, sort of with you, but not just dwelling on the sad thing.
No, that's no good. The sad thing is no good. I mean, that's a rabbit hole you just don't want to go down. Absolutely.
Yeah, pardon me. I don't think either one of our mothers would want us to think that we're sitting dwelling on the way they died or how those days were so sad.
Of course not. Of course not.
It wasn't their life.
Yeah, no, right. And you're in the business of teaching the next generation of kids.
Yep.
And that's our business. Our business is setting an example for all the children in the world.
That's right.
Even if we have no children. And you know, people younger than us. And we can teach them that it's actually going to be fun when they get older. It's going to be pretty terrific. And if we don't, because their job, I mean, I used to tell my kid when he was Django, who's now 23, I used to tell him, who incidentally might come on one of these things one day to just say hi. But I used to tell him when he was a small child, your first job is to have fun. And your second job is to learn stuff. And he kind of took it to heart. And he doesn't know anything, admittedly, but he had a lot of fun. No, he really did. But that job of having fun doesn't stop when you become an adult.
That's right.
You just let it lapse. That's why I sing with my wife stupid stuff on TV.
Yeah.
And we do silly things with the dog, you know. And it's kind of, there's a lot of things, especially during this time. And maybe by meeting up these weeks, because I know it's getting close to the end of this session. Not this session, this chat room, this club, that we'll get ideas and we'll be able to exchange ideas for having fun. So that's our job.
I met Django. He was at one of the fan club weekends. You probably recall. You brought him there.
Yes.
I think it was very often.
Yeah, we were pretty protective of him, so we didn't have it very often. Didn't want to meet too many crazy people.
Yeah.
It's funny
he met a couple that day. And I think he met the Lincolns too. I think that was the year.
The Lincolns, that was the most bizarre event. I don't know, for people who don't know this, we had a Star Trek fan club. We used to have this club, Siddig, which Mel kind of founded, and along with another club that Joan Marie Verber and Gail and a lot of other people were involved with, got together and created a sort of weekend lunches that we would have that work at the same time as conventions. So they were kind of mini side convention. Mm-hmm. And it would basically be turn up and we'll chat. And it wasn't about, you know, autographs or anything like that, or that sort of thing happened. But we would do it independently of conventions sometimes, because when it was really at its height, so we would just go and meet in Burbank or go and meet in another state. And one day we went to one hotel and they double booked the conventions because they weren't huge. And the other convention was the Lincolns. And I don't mean the car. I mean, there were 50 Abraham Lincolns wandering around, all dressed as Abraham Lincolns, all different sizes. It was just the most surreal event. And they probably thought we looked pretty strange.
And I'm sure I saw this. There were photographs taken with some of the fans with Lincolns.
I love that. I just love that. Only in America.
Yes. Yes. And their banjo music was drowning out some of the talks in our room.
Yeah, well, that's competition. Never trust those shifty presidents, man.
Yeah.
Those you don't trust those guys. They became leaders ruthlessly.
But thank you for well, not only doing this, but even all those years ago that you had been talking to us and spending so much time, because that really made a big impression on me. Because the series was still going on at that time, and it's like, I'm going to go to California now and actually talk to these people that I'm watching every Wednesday night, I believe it was.
Good.
So that was wonderful.
Give us hell.
I know.
Especially at this time, it's good. I mean, it's good. It's as balming for me. It's as good for me to talk to you as it is, I hope, the other way around. because, you know, we switch off our computer, we go and make a cup of tea and whatever. Everybody's got to do coffee. And Maggie, you guys are probably fast asleep by now, but probably not if I even beginning to know you out there in China. But you'll have to wake up and take class. But it's just a slightly better feeling than it was before, I hope. And that's really about building better feelings.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. Well, thank you for your time.
Thank you all again.
Yeah. I don't think we've got Morgan and Mimi, was it? I can't remember who. Marlo.
Yes.
I don't think we got him this week to play us out, but believe me, I'm working on music to get, because I know that people want to come and play for us. So over the next couple of times, I don't know when it will happen, but some people are going to come and play for us, and we'll have some music going on too. But I think we've got to cap it at 2 hours. Otherwise, I could go on for another 2 hours, and people won't eat, and people won't wake up for work, and people won't sleep, and children will never get to bed or watch their favorite TV show. So thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
And same time next week?
We'll figure out what time we're going to do this. Thank you to everybody who joined us today. I have a list of people who have their hands up, but please email me if your hand is up and we didn't get to you. mel@sidcity.net. We'll get you on the list for next time.
Because the whole point is I get to talk to you properly, so it's not, you don't get an allocated time, and I want to know about you. So yeah, if you feel like having a chat, give your name to Mel, and she'll know what to do.
Yeah. Okay. So thanks again. Watch the website and social media for when we announce the next one and all the other cool things we have in the works.
Can I say a big thank you to Mel for getting this all organized? We couldn't do it without you. Thanks very much.
It's been a real treat. This is something really uplifting to do in the middle of all the other work.
Hurrah!
Pretty boring. So.
Cheerio!
All right. Bye, everybody.
Bye-bye.